If your teenager is new to backpacking and they actually agreed to go out with you, I've got some advice to make it a little more enjoyable. The first thing is your trip planning. You want to make sure that the trail that you choose is short enough that you know that they can do it, but just long enough that they complain just enough that it's hard. And you don't want to go through a bunch of trees, because let's face it, that's boring. Boring for me. It's definitely going to be boring for your teenager. So you want to make the views really, really pretty and lots of interesting things to see. And you want it to be a level 3, 4 in terms of hiking. There's 10 levels of hiking, and in my next video I will explain the levels of hiking, but you want it to be about a 3 or a 4 for your teenager. I would say 1 or 2 nights is enough to go out, and you want to make sure that they are all set up in gear, specifically backpack and shoes. You don't want their backpack to be too heavy, to make sure that they pack their own backpack, but they don't carry too much stuff. But on the same note, you want them to bring things that they enjoy. My daughter brought her book and a hammock. Not something that I would generally put in my bag, but I knew I was carrying all the food and the tent, so I knew she could handle that weight. And when we got to the campsite, she had something to do that she liked. And for footwear, they need to make sure that they're wearing shoes that are a little bit bigger than their foot size, and they have good socks. No cotton socks, because if they get blisters, that will be miserable. Speaking of your feet, sit down, have them take off their shoes, lots of breaks. There's no rush. Give yourself a whole day to get to the campsite if you have to, even if it's an 8-kilometer trail. It just makes it a lot more fun. As for clothing, they're not going to know what keeps them warm, what keeps them dry, what's too hot. It's just all trial and error at this point. You just got to think about when you started out, how your body kept warm. For me, I need lots of layers. It takes me a long time to get warm in the morning. For her, she's got a higher metabolism, so she had to stop and take off her layers, and that's okay. Like, I don't want her to feel bad for stopping and holding it up. So make sure that they know it's okay to say, hey, there's a stone in my shoe, or I'm hot, or I'm cold, I need to stop, take off my pack, yada yada yada. You want to be prepared for a little bit of complaining. Totally normal. Just know that when you're going out there, they're going to complain to you, and you have to sort of internalize it. Don't get upset about it. Make it fun. Kind of joke around. That's what we did. I complained too, so we're both complaining. Yeah, just don't get mad about it. It does suck sometimes. It is hard, but they can do it. Okay, let's talk about food. You want to bring the snacks, carry the extra weight, bring hot chocolate, some chocolate, chips, a nice thermos at the campsite, so you can put some hot chocolate or tea or whatever they like in there. If they're old enough to have a little bit of alcohol. No, I'm not saying that, because we didn't actually bring alcohol. No. But I mean, we could.
We have the Fireball.
We could have brought Fireball with Bengal tea. Oh, we should have did that. Give them some things to do while you're at the campsite. So maybe setting up the tent, or filtering water, making the food, starting the fuel canister. Just little jobs so that they don't get bored. Plus they're learning how to do it. So one day they'll go out with their friends and you'll feel confident in them knowing how to do it. Navigation is another one. Show them how you're navigating, the app that you're using. Communication. I have my Garmin InReach, so she's seeing that I communicate with people using that. Another idea that you could do with your kids or teenagers is bushcraft. Now, you may think, oh, my kid is like 17, 18. They won't want to do that. You'd be surprised. My daughter found someone that had made a raft and they used rope and everything. And she was telling me about it and I'm like, oh yeah. But then I went and looked at it. It was pretty cool. And they actually kind of made a fishing rod with a broken pop can tab. And I'm like, that's pretty creative. We brought a knife, so she started whittling wood. It's amazing how creative they can get when they don't have any devices to entertain them. We play cards. That was fun. Go fish. I can't remember how to play any other card games. It's been a while, so I need to brush up on my card game. My card game. Don't slip on the roots. They'll be slippery. Ask me how I know.
Hey Mom, what do you like about backpacking?
Oh, let me tell you. What I like about backpacking is not only just preparing for it, thinking about all things that you need in your first aid kit, or making sure that your water filter doesn't freeze at night, like all of these little nuances, but just walking and getting in my own head and thinking about the future, the past, the present, without any distractions. I really like backpacking that way, or hiking. And then of course you see all this beautiful scenery that you don't get to see by a car, and it just makes you appreciate and be grateful for all the little things that you have in your life. Conversations on the trail are pretty cool with your team. They get talking, they tell you stories about things that's happened, you know, a year, 2 years ago, or at camp. And then sometimes they don't want to talk at all. They just want some space, you know. They just want to be in their own head, and that's okay. I like being in my own head too. So yeah, it's pretty cool, the conversation on trail with your teen. It's like, I don't know about you, but in the car also is the best. I've always had really good conversations with my kids in the car. But also get them to explore taking pictures and videos with their phone. It's pretty neat what you can capture on your phone, and to stop and look around and play with it. Maybe get them to watch like a YouTube video on how to take, you know, unique videos and pictures on your phone, and then they'll be more inclined to have a look around at the things that they're seeing, and they have something to do, and then they have something to look back on after your trip. One more piece of advice is, if your kid is really struggling and really moody and it's just making your trip miserable, sometimes you're just gonna have to have that talk. Like, look, we're out here, I know it's hard, and we're doing it anyway, so you can either keep being miserable and making it, you know, a terrible time, or you can try to make the most of it and have a good time. I've had to do that a couple of times too. Not on this trip. This trip's been great, but you know, kids are kids. Sometimes they just need to be told, you know, it's okay, come out of it. Stop it. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Until the next one. It's starting to rain.